Two snaps for attention span. Why you keep sabotaging the person that you're actually becoming. You say you want change, you swear you're ready, but deep down, a part of you keeps pulling you back into who you were. So, guess what? That's not a weakness. That's just the old self concept defending itself. And I know exactly how to disarm that, which is what's part of part two. This is part two of beast mode self concept. So let's have fun. Let's move forward because I've been in that war too. And let me show you how your subconscious, your mind is wired to protect you from the past because you could actually install a new inner standard that aligns with who you're actually becoming. And I'm not here to fix you. I'm a mirror. I'm a tour guide. I'm a reflection that's going to support you along the way. I'm the strongest version of a person that can help you and support you and guide you. It's not about likability. So until you remember what it feels like to believe in yourself again, then understand that beyond that difficult concept lies a new version of you. So let's go over. So we talked about the values and how they change over time. We discussed from childhood, young adult till later in life, they change. You're going to have different situations, different life experiences. When you get somebody who says, but I just don't know what I'm made for, like I don't know my purpose in this world. What you understand is purpose is not what you do, it's the good feeling you get from what you do, which is connecting to your self-esteem, what lights you up on the inside. And here's a concept that you can understand is that you're going to do different things across different points of your life. That includes different careers, different jobs, different aspects. This, I always say the sun will finally come to set, meaning that you'll hit a point in life where you understand what you're made for. Because it'll be about that good feeling you get with what you do, but also how that concept can impact 1 million people or 100 people. So your purpose becomes one part you, two part world. You could say what makes you feel good inside and how that can support the greater collective. That's where it's interpersonal. It's not just you, it's you and the world and how you fit into that puzzle piece. That's what it's about. Let's go on. So, how your values actually work together. So, it's like a company with one boss. You know, it's like family is most important, career is number two, health is number three, and then fun. This is what we call rigid ranking. You know, we assume that like one value just always wins. It doesn't work. Okay. So, this is like family is most important, career is second, all of that. How it really works is like a team. Your values communicate and adapt to each situation. So you see, it's not this big bullet point list of old way of thinking. It's literally working together. The house, the career, what you love to do, and your happiness, all of those values, they communicate across a variety of situations and they adapt to each situation. So the real story here is your brain doesn't have a most important value that just always wins. Instead, multiple values work together like a team, taking turns being the leader in that moment, in that area of life, depending on what's happening in your life at that point. So let's break this down. how self-concept creates invisible ceilings. Okay, as you can see. That's why your environment has a tendency to mirror your belief system. But if you have certain situations, you can bring your values to that scenario. That's the beauty of it. It's how you choose to reset those defaults in regards to your identity. So success doesn't feel like you're betraying yourself because your values have to be in line with who you are. And what tends to happen to people is they go out in the world, they look for external approval and external values, and they may adopt someone else's values only to discover that they're not really in alignment with who they are, and they fall into imposter syndrome. Real simple, right? That doesn't mean we can't get values from other people. We can, but they have to be in alignment with who you are. There's going to be certain values where they may feel good for a week or two, and all of a sudden you're like, why am I? You're like, this is not me. This doesn't align with who I am. It doesn't align with your values. So you see, this is when values actually clash. As sometimes your values will conflict with each other, and that's completely normal. It's part of being human. So family time, for example, you value spending quality time with your family, but your boss asks you to work late on your child's birthday. So you also value advancing your career. Now here you are. The conflict tennis match. Boom, boom, back and forth, right? So it is normal. The values conflicts, they actually happen to everyone. They're signs that you care about multiple important things in your life. So you have to navigate wisely. Ask yourself which value is most important for this specific situation right now, you know? And that's going to be that's a really tough value clash right there. Some people can all out quit their job, with that. They could lose their source of income for several months. They may look at that in the moment as an act of rebellion, but then not realize the 9 or 10 months of unemployment and your spouse being mad at you because you're not bringing any money in, right? So there's a bubble and a burst. Bubble is expectation, and the burst is the pop of that expectation, where you have a concept of something in external reality, and then what's going on inside you doesn't match that reality. And that's where depression sets right in. So you see how that works, right? So finding your true values, the best way to discover what you value is paying attention to your feelings during the difficult experiences. And you could do what's called a value audit. Literally a value audit. And you could always talk to me. We could always do a coaching session together, and I can help you figure out what that is. And they're not going to be my values. It's going to be helping you decipher and figure out what your values are. So in the moment, you got to notice how you feel. What makes you feel energized? What do you fill your time with? Because you could have something of low value taking control over something of high value. For example, low value could be binge watching for 8 hours, and that can be more valuable than, let's say, exercise. So here lies a problem. How can I possibly exercise when I want to binge watch for 8 hours? Well, discomfort does bring growth, right? So what feels meaningful? What drains your energy? What drains your time? And over time, you got to look at the patterns. What activities do you keep coming back to? What achievements feel most satisfying? And which, by the way, stop comparing yourself to other people. You don't have to do these big, grandiose achievements that other people do. Their journey is not your journey. Your journey is not theirs. You have to understand the concept of your milestones, your journey, the things that you accomplish. And you have to look at what you constantly avoid. If you're avoiding exercise all the time, maybe you're not educated about that exercise enough. In other words, you're not learning enough about it, right? You're not wrapping your head around those concepts. You're not coming up with a strong enough why, because you have the reason why that value is there, and then you have several supportive beliefs and reasons below to support that. So here's that exercise. This is where it's all about taking action. I'm asking you, don't wait. Don't wait until you hit rock bottom in your life before you wake up. Okay, if this message stirred something with you today, it's not just a signal. You have to think about the time when you truly felt happy and fulfilled. What was happening? What made it special? Because those clues, they point to your values. So please, if this message stirred something in you, it's not just a video. This is a straight message and signal. And if you know other people that need it, send it to them. Not because I want to grow the channel, but because they need it. Comment, share, reach out to me. If you want to do a value session, we could do that because your future self is actually waiting. So take care. See you in the next video.